Hey guys, welcome in. After an explosive year one under new head coach Lincoln Riley, the USC offense returned to levels we haven't seen since 2004. We really saw one of the better seasons in college football history from USC quarterback and eventual Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams. Now, as good as that Trojan offense was last year, I think we will see a big jump from last year's group. So in today's video, we're going through position by position. I'll give you my starting lineup, as well as some bold predictions and hot takes heading into the 2023 season. But before we get into it today, guys, if you are enjoying the videos, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to help support the channel in an even bigger way, you can do so over on my Patreon for only $1 a month. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and let's get into it. Okay, so obviously you can't even start a conversation about the USC offense without first mentioning the best player in the nation, the franchise, Caleb Williams. Caleb transferred to USC from Oklahoma with very high expectations, and all he did was absolutely annihilate those expectations as we saw him put together the best season a USC quarterback has ever had. And that's including guys like Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart, Mark Sanchez, Rodney Peete, and Sam Darnold. From an individual standpoint, that was the most incredible quarterback season we've seen in the Cardinal and Gold. And the fact that he was a true sophomore makes all of this even crazier. So Caleb does return for what's going to be likely his final year at SC. And with him, he brings even higher expectations of becoming the first player since Archie Griffin to win back-to-back Heismans, as well as guiding USC to their first college football playoff appearance. This year, it's quite simple. This team will go as far as Caleb Williams takes them. There is not a better quarterback or player in all of college football. But having said all of that, are there areas where Caleb can improve to become an even better player? Of course. People often compare Caleb to Patrick Mahomes based on play style. Another thing that links it to is that early in Patrick's career, he sorta had an issue with not taking the easy play. He was always looking to take the deep shot. But when Mahomes truly took that next leap and became the best player in football, it's when he learned to check it down. That's when Mahomes won his first Super Bowl. We saw that from time to time last year with Caleb. On important drives that could have been extended with a simple check down, they ended up stalling because Caleb would hold the ball 8 to 10 seconds and take a 13-yard loss on a sack. Now, he can make magic on plays like that as well, so it's a balancing act for sure, but if Caleb can take the easy play on a more consistent basis, I think we'll see him be even better in 2023. But looking at the QB room as a whole, I think USC has the best situation in the entire country. Miller Moss is an incredible backup to have. In today's day and age of college football, having a quality backup is truly a rarity, so SC is really lucky to have a guy like Miller stick around as long as he has. 5-star true freshman Malachi Nelson will likely redshirt this season as he prepares to challenge to be SC's QB1 in 2024. And Jake Jensen's as talented a 4-stringer as you'll find out there. I love his mobility that he could provide off the bench in an emergency break glass situation. So love this room overall. I think it's the best quarterback room in the entire country. But as we all know, nothing will improve a quarterback's game more than having a dynamic running game to pair with him, and USC looks to have exactly that this upcoming season. The running back room is way deeper than it was last season. Former Stanford transfer Austin Jones returns for his second and final year at SC, and he'll be splitting carries with former South Carolina Gamecock Marshawn Lloyd. As many of you know, I have predicted that Marshawn will be an All-American at season's end. I think he and Austin will be 50-50 with the carries to start the year, but I do think Marshawn's explosiveness as well as his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield will separate him from Austin some point down the stretch. The same way we saw Travis Dye take over as the main guy in that middle part of the year last year. Now, Austin is no slouch. One look at his tape against Notre Dame last year will tell you that, but I just think Marshawn is that special of a player if he can stay healthy. Former TCU Horned Frog Darwin Barlow is back for his third year with SC, and the two freshmen, Amarian Peterson and Quentin Joyner, who absolutely balled out in the spring game, looks to break into the starting lineup as well. Okay, so obviously the running back's ability to produce is largely based upon the level of play coming from the offensive line. And while I'm not certain this year's Trojan line has a player as elite as an Andrew Voorhees, I do think as a unit the group will be better as a whole. Just looking at the interior three, I'm not sure if there will be a better trio in the country than Jarrett Kingston, Justin Dedich, and Emmanuel Pregnon. They really have it all: athleticism, experience, and talent. I can't wait to watch those guys grow and develop as a unit over the course of the season. Former Florida Gator Michael Tarquin and Jonah Monheim form one of the better tackle duos in the country as well. You have 4-star freshman Elijah Page, who is the left tackle in waiting for this SC team. That kid's going to be a true superstar whenever his number gets called. There are some other solid depth pieces like Cooper Lovelace and Gino Quinones. Multiple true freshmen will arrive later in the summer as well. Guys like Micah Benuelos, Alani Noah, Tobias Raymond, and Amos Talele. With all those young guys, I would really love to see SC clobber a few of those first few opponents on the schedule so they can get some run early in the year. Okay, now let's talk about what looks to be the strongest and deepest room on USC's roster, the wideouts. I don't even know where to start. I guess we'll just start with the returning guys. Taj Washington had a massive year in 2022, rebounding from a very disappointing 2021 campaign. The lack of production was in no way Taj's fault, he was just horribly misused. But he looks to yet again play a prominent role in the Trojan offense. Love his game, true playmaker with home run ability. Fan favorite Michael Jackson III returns after a breakout last half of the year in 2022. Michael can really house it from anywhere on the field. He's so dangerous on screens. I'd look for him to have a role from the jump this year. Mario Williams is back as well. A lot of people have either forgotten about Mario or written him off for whatever reason. I don't understand it personally. He made a bunch of plays last year. Sure, he had a few drops, but that doesn't mean he's not a fantastic player. The last 2 times we have seen Brendan Rice, he has looked like a completely different guy from all the previous games we saw him in. Those 2 times being the Cotton Bowl and the spring game. Earlier in the offseason, he mentioned that he and Caleb really started gelling more and more, and their chemistry greatly improved between the Pac-12 title game and the bowl game. And if he plays anything like he did in that Cotton Bowl, he will undoubtedly be USC's wide receiver 1 in 2023. The size, speed, and just his physical presence really sets him apart. If he puts everything else together, he could play his way into the first round in next year's NFL draft. Kyron Hudson-Ware is the last returner we have to talk about today. He really had a knack for making plays in the red zone last year, so we'll see if that trend continues into this season. Now with the new guys, USC added the leading receiver in the Pac-12 last year with former Arizona Wildcat Dorian Singer. As we saw firsthand in the SC U of A game last year, he is a true possession receiver, and an elite one at that. I mean, he catches nearly everything thrown his way. His one hand is better than most guys' both hands. I'm fascinated to see what his role ends up being this year. He's only listed at 6 foot, but he plays much bigger than that. I am expecting big things from him. Zach Branch is a true freshman that has the potential to end up being one of, if not the best wideouts USC has ever had. The combination of his insane skill set and the Lincoln Riley offense as a whole, I mean, by the time his career is over at SC, he could go down as one of the all-time greats. Makai Lemon is another elite prospect by the way of Los Alamitos High School that is an incredibly underrated player. I do think he'll contribute this year. How much is the real question. But no doubt heading into the Big Ten, he'll be one of the more prominent parts of this USC offense. And lastly, for the wideouts, Jacoby Lane is a 6'4" true freshman who will be arriving later in the summer that will more than likely redshirt this season. But as we've seen, Lincoln loves to play as many guys as possible at wideout, so I'm sure we'll see him at some point this season. Okay, so next up, we need to talk about the tight ends. This is a position group that didn't see too much production last season. I think multiple things contributed to that. Both the lack of elite talent at that spot, as well as Caleb just not being a big tight end heavy quarterback. As we talked about earlier, Caleb didn't take many checkdowns last year, which ultimately led to less targets for those guys. Lake McCree returns, and he's one of my absolute favorite players on the team. I love his game and would love to see him get more opportunities in the passing game this season. Jude Wolf is also back, but he's been injured since last year's spring camp, so we'll wait and see with him. Carson Tabarachi missed all of last year due to an injury, and with the tight end depth as terribly low as it was during spring, Carson made the move from linebacker to tight end. He does have a good amount of experience on offense dating back to his high school days, so the move made sense. I'm very excited to see his growth and development over the course of the year. I assume he'll be playing a large amount. So obviously the tight end depth is terribly low. However, some reinforcements are coming as true freshman Cade Eldridge will be here for fall camp. He's a very high upside player who played running back up there at Lyndon Christian in Washington. Not sure if he'll be ready to make an impact in year 1, but we shall see with that. Okay, so we do have one more group to talk about, and this one I'm just calling weapons because they don't fit in a specific group. We'll start here with Rayleigh Brown. It was an up and down freshman year for Rayleigh, but I thought we really saw his breakout game against Tulane. I mean, he really stopped cutting horizontally and just planted his foot in the dirt and got upfield, and he looked incredible. He's really been working with the slot receivers during spring ball, so I think he will be out in space more this season, which I think is a genius move by Lincoln. The more space he has, the more dangerous he will become. And also, Deuce Robinson fits in this category. Of course, at Pinnacle, he was a tight end. 247 had him rated as a tight end, but Lincoln said he's not playing tight end. So I'm fascinated to see what that will look like. Will he play some H-back? I'm sure he'll be used in the slot as he's just a complete mismatch for linebackers or nickel corners. I mean, he's kind of a mismatch for everybody, so I'm expecting big things from Deuce this year regardless of where he's used. Alright, so now that we've gone position by position and really broken down this offensive group, let's talk about my projected starting lineup as we sit here on May 14th. So I've got Caleb Williams at quarterback, shocking, I know, Marshawn Lloyd at running back, Lake McCree at tight end, Rice, Singer, and Washington as the first 3 wideouts. But guys, they're going to rotate so often, don't take too much stock in who the quote-unquote starters are. And my offensive line is Tarquin at left tackle, Kingston, Dedich, and Pregnon round out the interior, with Jonah Monheim at right tackle. So that starting 11 is very impressive, but what truly makes this unit unfair to play against is the depth of every single spot aside from center. If your starting lineup differs from mine though, please do let me know down in the comments. Okay, and the last segment for this video is hot takes. I have a few I'm going to put out there, but this is where I need to hear from you guys. Let me know your boldest and spiciest takes for the offense in 2023. The first one I have for you is that I think Caleb throws for over 50 touchdowns. He threw for 42 last year. I think he easily throws for 50 this season. Secondly, I think Rayleigh Brown scores double-digit touchdowns this season. If he can stay healthy throughout the course of the year, I really feel like he's going to have a big year. And finally, I think Jonah Monheim will be a first-team All-American at the right tackle spot. But again, please do let me know your hot takes down below. I'd love to hear some of the stuff you guys come up with. Alright, that's my preview of the USC offense for the 23-24 season. This group is absolutely stacked, and of course will be led by the best offensive mind in the game and head coach Lincoln Riley. This group's going to put up a boatload of points, and I can't wait to see it. But that will do it for me today, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to help support the channel in an even bigger way, you can do so over at my Patreon for only $1 a month. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.